بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة الأبدية على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. Inshallah, we are going to continue the questions and answers about Manasik al-Hajj. We come 10 questions out of about 70. So let's try to take the question number 11. Now, you know the issue of the parallel point we had discussed before, that if Makkah is here and a parallel point to the MEQAAT is here, so that means Juhfa, Jeddah, and Makkah. So it forms a 90 degree, like if this points to Makkah, this points to MEQAAT, we have a 90 degree, and this point is called Muhadat. This one is called Muhadat, the parallel point to Juhfa. So Juhfa, parallel point, Makkah. So this is where a person can enter the state of Ihram. Now, this point is not in Jeddah, according to say the SISTANI Damadullah, which is parallel to Juhfa. It is somewhere southeast of Jeddah. Now, Jeddah is this, like, you see the map, the Saudi Arabia map comes like that. So this is what, let me show you the map. At least we have shown you before, but it's nice that you have an image also with you in your mindset. Okay. So if you can see this map, so this is Juhfa here. Okay, where did it go? Yes. This is Miqat al-Juhfa. This is Makkah. When we stretch a line all the way here, this point, you don't need to have ihram with nadar in this point. Why? Because it's parallel. This, according to say, this is Tani Damadullah. Okay. Other Maraja, they differ. Even Sayyid al-Khui says the parallel ship is only with them, because there's a hadith of Abdullah bin Sinan or Ibn Sinan. It's an authentic hadith, sahih. The narration is sahih. However, the narration, if I will just go back to the narration mentions, yeah. So we have the narration here of Abdullah bin Sinan and Abi Abdullah alayhi salatu. Now, some other maraja, they don't take this narration because the narration is not like free and flexible. It has some clauses. So that's why Sayyid al-Khui limited the muhadat to Masjid al-Shajara only, because the narration mentions Masjid al-Shajara. However, Sayyid Sistani considers this Masjid al-Shajara as an example. They call it Manat. So Manat is one. Parallel to Masjid al-Shajara, that means parallel to a miqat. Sayyid al-Khui and some others, they considered no, there must be a specific reason for them to mention Masjid al-Shajara. So Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu says, Man aqama bil madinati shahran. Whoever resides in Medina 1 month. Okay, this one clause in the narration. Okay. Man aqama bil madinati shahran. And then, wa huwa yuridul hajj. And then after that, he is intending for hajj. So it's going to be related to Umratul Tamattu, because he wants to hajj. ثم بدا له أن يخرج في غير طريق أهل المدينة. He decided not to come from Medina, which comes to Masjid al-Shajara. He will go somewhere else. He will go like east and then come down to Makkah, because Masjid al-Shajara is somewhere here north. Okay, somewhere here north, and Makkah is here. So instead of coming through Juhfa, he wants to take another route for any reason. So the guy is coming from Medina. That's third clause. So number 1 clause, Medina 1 month. Number 2 clause, he wants to do Hajj Tamattu. Number third clause, or he wants to do Hajj, and obviously it's about 80 kilometers Hajj Tamattu. And then he wants to take a route other than the route of Juhfa and Masjid al-Shajara. So that means he will go take another route from Masjid al-Shajara. فيكون حذاء الشجرة. This is the word حذاء, محاذاة. So whatever miqat is parallel to Masjid al-Shajara, حذاء محاذي Masjid al-Shajara, that is going to be his miqat from the Bayda. So as you can see, the narration is not like flexible, is it? It has some restrictions. So here the Maraja, they differ. Say the Sistani says it's an example, okay, and then other clues and contextual evidences, they indicate any muhadat is sufficient, and the words of the scholars before. However, the scholars also previously, when they said muhadat, they had some limitations, that the two lines should be equal, okay, this is equal to this. Say the Sistani says no need for that, okay. And there were other conditions of these two parallel points. But say the Sistani says as long as there's 90 degrees, and the parallel also doesn't need to be accurate 100%, like bring those devices and geometrical devices and geographical devices and geometric and all those kind of things. He says no, urfan, in common consideration, it is a parallel point, like it's a parallel point to Masjid to Juhfa, and which faces Makkah. So khalas, that's it, 90 degrees. You don't have to be 90, it can be 91, 92, 93, 89, 88. Like you don't have to be exactly like that. Like you can be a little bit like this, a little bit like this. You see, too much accuracy is not required. Madaq al-aqliya, intellectual accuracy. So as you can see here, Juhfa, this is Jeddah. So most of the Jeddah is in the east of the, as you can see in the map, in the east of the parallel point, northeast. So this is all Jeddah. So most part of the Jeddah, which is when the airport line goes beside, the airport is before this line of Muhadha. So Muhadha is somewhere southeast of Jeddah. This is Muhadha to Juhfa. If we are going to look at Muhadha of Masjid al-Shajara, then it's going to drop all the way somewhere here. Okay, somewhere here, sorry, this line. Shamsi, Masjid al-Shamsi, there's Masjid al-Shamsi there. So this is going to be Muhadat of Masjid al-Shajara, somewhere in this line. So therefore, and that's going to also cause a 90 degree with the Makkah. So that's another. So you can have two parallel points. And if you are going to pass through the next parallel point, you don't have to enter the state of Ihram before the first parallel point, as we said before. Now, some of the shiukhs, when they did the calculations, you see the difference between this map is a bit bulgy. So you can see Jeddah protruded this side. This map is like a stretched map. So you see Jeddah has become a squeezy, narrow thing. So it depends on the map also, because these are all deceiving points for the site. How accurate your map is. How accurate these Google Maps are when it comes to taking screenshots. So this is a screenshot where you see Jeddah is broader. And this is the screenshot where you see Jeddah is narrower. Okay. And this is, if you take a point which is so accurate, it comes out in the seaport of Jeddah. However, it's south and a bit east of Jeddah, but not totally like going through Jeddah. It's like even before the airport. So anyhow, and this line goes after the airport. So according to this map, from Jeddah airport, you can enter the state of Ihram with Nadar. Why? Because it is before the miqat, or before the parallel point of the miqat. And anywhere in East Jeddah. According to this line, which has been stretched down, it's coming somewhere in the ocean, as you can see. But you can see even the map is kind of stretched. It lacks accuracy as well. It's very stretched map. And this one is a kind of like bulged map. However, it all depends on how you are going to look at this point. Say this Sistani Damadullo says based on the people expert he sat with them, this map is more closer to say the Sistani. Why? Because he said southeast of Jeddah. So this is Jeddah, this is south, this is east of Jeddah, this west. So southeast of Jeddah. So Junub Sharq Jeddah. So this Jeddah, this Junub Sharq, this area. So we're going to see the words of the fatwa, okay, which is south. Just let me check. It's not south. It's sorry, southwest. Junub Gharb. So if we can see the fatwa of Sayyid Sistani Damadullah, we will find out that the parallel point. So he says al-manat bi-ikhtilaf al-khattayn. Al-manat muhadat. He says about Sheikh al-Na'ini, and then we have the ruling number 14. بالقرب إن تجوز يمر بشيء. Let's see. Yes. So the Jeddah MEQAAT, جنوب الشرقي, southeast of Jeddah. Southeast of Jeddah, yes. So we are right. So when we look at the map, okay, when we look at the map here, let me share again. Yes. So southeast. So this is Jeddah. This is south. This is east. So this map is according to what the wordings of Sayyidi Sistani are. And if we take Masjid al-Shajara parallel point, then it is exactly southeast of entire Jeddah. So this is whole Jeddah, and this is where the parallel point of Masjid al-Shajara befalls. So parallel point means you don't have to make nether. Before parallel point, you can make nether. That's why Jeddah airport, you can make nether, or in Jeddah, all the way west of Jeddah, you can make nether. Why? Because it's before the parallel point, before the MEQAAT, before the parallel point of the MEQAAT. So you can enter the state of Ihram via nether anywhere before you pass the line of the MEQAAT or the parallel point of the MEQAAT or the parallel. So you cannot pass the MEQAAT without entering the state of Ihram or the parallel point, unless if you have done the nether and entered the state of Ihram, and then you don't have to enter the state of Ihram from the MEQAAT or from the parallel point. So this is about the parallel point of Ju'fa. Now let's see. This one. So this is that Iraq. Remember the miqat of people of Iraq? So if we stretch a line to a point where it gives us 90 degrees to Makkah, then Ash-Shumaysa or Al-Jumum area where Shumaysi is, Shumaysi, Ash-Shumaysi. So this is making almost 90 degrees, this area, Shumaysi. Obviously, if you go here, here, Al-Jumum, you can have exactly 90 degrees, okay? Exactly 90. And we said intellectual accuracy is not required. Because it's a big city, you might find a masjid, you might find a place where you can enter the state of Ihram. And this is also coming from Jeddah. Some, they say Hadda or Hadda, not Jeddah, Hadda or Hadda. So this area also is like a parallel point to Masjid al-Shajara. But Juhfa, no way. Juhfa is all the way in line with Jeddah. So this is again that Irq. We're trying to see 90 degree. Okay. So there is Masjid al-Hudaybiyah. So Masjid al-Hudaybiyah is here. This is a Shumaysa. So this is Hadda. So that's why some of the scholars, they might be they might have satisfaction that someone can enter the state of Ihram from Hadda. Why? Because it has if you stretch the line further, then you might end up into 90 degrees. But mostly this Hadda and all these other areas, this is Hadda, okay, Ash-Shumaysa. So there's a good difference between Hadda, but there's Hudaybiyah, which is Adna al-Hil, which is only 8 degrees difference. Why I'm mentioning this 8 degrees difference? Because he said the 4 degrees difference is not a big deal. This is the Masjid al-Shajara. Masjid al-Shajara point. Okay. So we have, this is Haram, this is Masjid al-Shajara, and this Masjid this all the way on Medina, Dhul Halifa. So if we stretch a line from Medina to here, Masjid al-Shajara, Dhul Halifa, and we stretch a line to Makkah, then this is where our 90 degrees, close to Hadda. Remember Hadda? So this is very close area, Hadda. So that's why some scholars, they say you can just enter the state of Ihram from Hadda. Okay. And this is Masjid al-Shumaysi. This is not that Shumaysi area of north of Hadda. This is Shumaysi, another Shumaysi. This is Jumjum of Shumaysi. This is Masjid al-Shumaysi. So this is exactly southeast of Jeddah. Jeddah is all the way on northwest of this point, or even Hadda. So this is Jeddah highway. And this is Adna al-Hil, where the border of Makkah is, Masjid al-Hudaybiyah. This is part of the border of Makkah. Remember, you should not enter the border of Makkah, where border of Haram, unless you are. So this point is very close to the border of Makkah. So here you don't need to have nadhar. However, if you are planning to go before it, or you are doubting, then before you come to this point, enter the state of Ihram with nadhar. Okay? So see, this is the this is the Haram. This is the border of the Haram. Masjid Tan'im, Ju'rana, Masjid al-Namira, and Masjid al-Hudaybiyah. So you don't have to, like for people living in Makkah, they can just come to the border and go back. But these are places made as a MEQAAT station, so no problem coming inside inside this mosque and entering the state of Ihram. However, Hadda is just before it. Let me see if yeah, let me show you this map so we can get a clear picture about the coordinates we are talking about. Okay, so this is the map of Makkah. Okay, and see, we have Hadda. This is Hadda. Okay, and if we come a bit here, you see Makkah. This is Jeddah. This is Makkah. So Makkah is southeast of Jeddah. Okay. Now, if we take, let me make it a bit smaller so that we can see the miqat. First of all, this is the Jeddah highway, and this was Hadda. So Hadda is still in southeast of Jeddah, and this is where you see Hudaybiyah Mosque. This is a Shumaisi area of north, and this is Hadda. And then here we have an area. This is called Masjid al-Shumaisi. So if I will stretch a line from Masjid al-Shumaisi here, just let's make it smaller. You know this area now, this patch is Masjid al-Shumaisi. So I'm going to make it smaller, this line, and smaller and smaller. So this number 80, where Masjid al-Shumaisi is. Yeah, this is Medina al-Munawwara. Okay. And this is the Khalifa, Miqat of Masjid al-Shajara. You see Dhul Khalifa here? Dhul Khalifa. So this is the Miqat of people of Medina. So we are going to go all the way down. We need to get that number 80 on that highway, which is going to show us all the way drop line. And we are coming close to Makkah. We need that number 80. There you go. This one, sorry, this one. So this one was dropped down all the way. I can also put a mark here. Yes. So now we have a mark there. So see, this one was beside this Bahra, all the way straight to Medina al-Munawwara. So if we pull this line till here and we stretch it to Makkah, this is what shows in the map which I showed you. This one. So Masjid al-Shajara has a parallel point also close to this Hadda. That's why some of the scholars, they said you can enter the state of Ihram from Hadda without any requirement of nether, because it is a parallel point to Masjid al-Shajara. And the narration mentioned Masjid al-Shajara. So that's why those who consider Hadda, they are very confident and satisfied that Masjid al-Shajara and Hadda, they are in one parallel point. So you can enter the state of Ihram from there. Hadda doesn't have 90 degree. It may be like 92 degree. If we, let's try to pull a line from Hadda to Makkah, to Haram, and we will see it's not that big of a angle. Okay, so we have, this is Haram. So you see this one is a bit more than 90. And that's what we said, that المذاقة العلمية المذاقة العقلية is not required. المذاقة العرفية is sufficient, like accuracy. So anyhow, this is something just for you to get an idea. However, whenever you go Hajj, you go via caravan, and that caravan, inshallah, there will be a scholar, a proper scholar who is educated with the Masail of Hajj. He will, inshallah, try to guide you on all these issues about the parallel point and non-parallel point. Now, after seeing this, if now we can go and read the rulings of, say, the Sistani Damadullah, it will be more clearer to us after putting that image in the mind. And okay, so let's take ruling number 11. Yes. So ruling number 11, هل هناك مسافة محددة لمحاذي الميقات? Why are they asking these questions? Because when you go to the fiqh research of muhadha, you will find scholars, they had differences in this defining the criteria of muhadha. So you'll find some of them, they say they should not be more far, it should not be more this, the two lines should be equal, those kind of things. So those are the questions based on the words of the scholars previously. They had this argument. If you go to the Mawsu' al-Fiqhiyya, the Bahth of the Islamic laws, you will find there all these arguments in the Sahih, authentic narration of Abdullah bin Sinan, the criteria for the miqat of muhadha. So هل هناك مسافة محددة لمحاذ الميقات? Is there any specific distance for the parallel point of the miqat? Obviously from the miqat. So say the Sistani says, لا, no specific point. بل العبرة بالصدق العرفي. Whatever is commonly considered like a parallel point, like a little bit here, a little bit there, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be very sharp. So that's what we said. Al-urfan. Common consider says there's an almost a 90-degree. At one point there's haram, and at one point there's miqat. That's it. Could be taller, shorter, longer, whatever. It doesn't matter. So he says كيف نحدد المكان المحاذي للميقات الذي يجوز الإحرام منه لمن لا يمر بشيء من المواقيت. If somebody is not passing through any of the miqats, like nowadays, you go through airplane, and airplane, you don't have enough time to stay in the miqat. So as you are not passing through the miqat, passing through the miqat means those people who are able to stop at the miqat, enter the state of ihram from the miqat, that is considered somebody passing by the miqat. But passing by aeroplane, it's not enough time. So anyways, you are going to do ihram with nadhr, not as a ihram of miqati, the miqat ihram. No, it's going to be ihram via nadhr. So therefore, it is very important to understand that those who are passing by miqat, they have to enter the state of ihram on the miqat. They cannot pass it just to enter the state of ihram on a parallel point which is coming next to the miqat. No. So that's why he is emphasized those people who are not passing through the miqat, they can enter the state of ihram from one of the parallel points. كيف نحدد المكان المحاذي للميقات الذي يجوز الإحرام منه لمن لا يمر بشيء من المواقيت? How can we define the parallel point for a miqat which a person has permissibly to enter the state of ihram from it, which if he does not pass by any of the miqats, he's not going to pass any of the miqat. He skipped all the miqats, okay, he did not go through them. So he came through a route, there was no miqat on his way, or even if there was, but there was no sufficient time for him to enter the state of ihram. So he says إذا افترضنا خطين متقاطعين, if we have hypothesis, or if we consider like hypothetically two hypothetical lines, okay, connecting in a 90 degree. يشكلان, they form a 90 degree زاوية قائمة 90 درجة. وكان أحدهما يمر بمكة, one of the lines passes through Makkah. والآخر يمر بميقات, so one passes through Makkah, another passes through ميقات, and they form a 90 degree. فإذا وقف الشخص في نقطة التقاطع, so on the point of connection of these two lines, the angle, if someone stands on that angle point facing the Kaaba, the miqat would be either right or left. So let's say if a person is facing the Kaaba, okay, the miqat would be right of him or left of him. Okay, so either right, either left. He's facing the Kaaba. Okay, so this is his left, this is his right. So the miqat would be at the right or at the left because he's facing the Kaaba. والآخر يمر. فإذا وقف الشخص في نقطة التقاطع مستقبلا مكة المكرمة فهو واقف المكان المحاذي لذلك الميقات. If he faces the Kaaba or the Makkah المكرمة, if he faces Mecca, that means he is standing on a parallel point. والعبرة في هذا بالصدق العرفي. Common consideration is the criteria here. What is commonly considered to be parallel point, common angle, common lines, common hypothetical lines, common hypothetical angle. ولا يعتبر فيه التدقيق العلمي. The specific accuration, the intellectual accuration is not required in this because it becomes too much for the lay people. Okay. Ruling number 13. That was ruling number 12. Ruling number 13. In ruling number 13, مقتضى المناط المذكور في جواب السؤال المتقدم. In a previous question, the criteria mentioned about the parallelship to all the miqat does not limit to one point. So one miqat might have more than one parallel points. بل توجد نقاط محاذاة متعددة لكل منهما. There are several parallel points that can be understood or pictured or gained, okay, from using that criteria. وذلك باختلاف الخطين المتقاطعين المفروضين, due to the two hypothetical, those lines, okay, where they are pointing, because wherever you point, Makkah is like here, so Makkah is like here, Makkah is like here. So you can go so many parallel points so like Makkah is like here. So then you can go to Masjid al-Shajara, then you can go to that Irq, and all the way you can have several parallel points looking at the 5 miqats. So there can be more than one parallel point. So فإنه كلما زيد في طول أحدهما ونقص من الآخر. So whenever one line increases, another line becomes short. تتغير نقطة التقاطع. The parallel point where the lines they form an angle, it differs from place to place. إلا إذا حددتم ذلك بأن يكون الخطان في موضع موضع التقاطع متساويين طولا. Unless if, O Sayyidina, you consider that those two lines are equal. Okay? But if you say one can be short, one can be long, then you can have so many parallel points. But if you say they are equal, then we don't have that many parallel points. ولعل هذا الذي هو الذي يحدد المحاذاة العرفية محاذاة العرفية, and this may be what is defining the common considered parallel point. وعلى ذلك, Based on that, لا تكون جدة قبل موضع المحاذاة. Based on that, if you want equality of both lines, then Jeddah does not befall on that angle or on that point, parallel point, because it is more closer to Makkah than Juhfa. Because Juhfa is 200 and something kilometers. Makkah is about 70 kilometers from Jeddah. So it's a shorter line. So if you want two equal lines, then there's no muhadat from Juhfa for beside Jeddah. Okay, because Jeddah, Makkah is shorter distance. Then, so do you require that two lines should be equal? He said, no, I don't require. المناط عرفا في المحاذاة. محقق النائني, one of the giants of Hausa, teacher of Sayyid Abul Qasim al-Khuy قدس سره. محقق النائني also has a lot of bahth in ilm al-usul, and he was one of the strong usuli maraja. They had this ilm al-usul. Was one of the giants, just I can say like that. So محقق النائني, Sayyid Sistani says, the criteria is the commonly considered parallelship, as Muhaqqiq al-Naini rahmatullah alayh had indicated. So what did he indicate? He did not indicate that two lines should be together. ولا يضر به تغيير نقطة المحاذاة كلما زيد في أحد الخطين المتقاطعين اللذين يشكلان زاوية قائمة. So these two lines, they are short, tall. It doesn't have any effect as those two lines which are forming an angle of 90 degrees. There is no problem in one being taller, one line being shorter. نعم اشترط. Yes, however, some of the scholars, not say this is then, he says, I do not support this, what the scholars had said. Some of the scholars, they made a condition for this parallel point. المعتبر أن يكون البعد يسيرا بين موضع المحاذاة والميقات. That means the parallel point between the miqat and the parallel point, the distance between the miqat and the parallel point should not be so big. Why? Remember, taking from hadith of Masjid al-Shajara, okay? So the distance is not that much. So the distance should not be too much between the miqat and the parallel point. Okay, this is some scholars, they indicated, they understood, I think so, from the narration of Masjid al-Shajara, Abdullah bin Sinan. نعم اشترط بعض الفقهاء في المحاذاة المعتبرة في الإحرام أن يكون البعد يسيرا, that the distance is very minimum, not too much, بين موضع المحاذاة والميقات, between the parallel point and the miqat. ولكنه خلاف المختار. Who's Mukhtar? It's not Mukhtar al-Thaqafi. No, Mukhtar means choice, my choice. But it is against my choice. I do not require long distance, short distance, this, farther. Just 90, form a 90-degree angle and not even intellectual accuracy, commonly considered the angle. Fine, that's fine with me. So he has very simple and easy indication. No, so many conditions. وَأَمَّا مَا ذُكِرَ مِنْ اشْتِرَاطِ تَسَاوِي الْخَطَّيْنِ الْمُتَقَاطِعَيْنِ فَغَرِيبٌ. And he says, as for the two lines to be equal, the two lines which are forming an angle should be equal in length, it is strange. If we will consider that, he said, then it will lead to إذ لازم عدم تحقق المحاذاة. It will lead to no parallel. We will not have any parallel point for a miqat. It will cause to no parallel point, in existence of a parallel point. في مورد صحيح ابن سينان الذي عمدة الدليل, and it is not even mentioned in the narration of Ibn Sinan, Abdullah bin Sinan, which is the main criteria for the ruling of parallelship, for the ruling of entering the state of Ihram from a parallel point or to a miqat. Ruling number 14. Again, on the parallel point. He says that based on the criteria, the question, based on the criteria mentioned to define the parallel point, then there are several points several parallel points for various miqat. Even some are very close to Makkah, like we mentioned, Masjid al-Shajara or Aqiq, which comes all the way close to Hadda, by either Masjid al-Shajara, either Aqiq. ومقتضى ذلك, and that would lead to أنه يجوز للمكلف ترك الإحرام إلى نقطة محاذية لبعض المواقيت قبل الدخول في مكة. فهل هذا صحيح? That will lead to that people can leave the farthest parallel point to the closest parallel point to the Makkah, as long as it is not in the Haram, as he will mention, say the Sistani. So closest point to Haram, border of the Haram, farthest point to the border of the Haram. So that means that, so is this correct? He says, the questioner, the answer, إذا لم يمر المكلف في طريقه بشيء من المواقيت, if he does not pass by any of the miqats, designated miqat, فبإمكانه تأخير الإحرام إلى آخر نقطة المحاذاة. Then he has an option, to delay the ihram to the next parallel point, the closest parallel point to the haram, and not inside the haram. Okay? محاذاة. ولكن قبل الوصول إلى الحرم, but before arriving the haram, the border of Mecca, بناء على ما هو المختار, based on whatever is my choice. مختار, my choice. اختيار, my اختيار. Based on my choice. So what is your choice, Sayyidina? من عدم جواز دخول الحرم إلا محرما, that you cannot enter the haram without entering the state of ihram. So let's say there was a parallel point inside the haram. No, I have to enter the state of ihram from outside of the haram before passing that point, border of the haram, border of Makkah. هل تتحقق المحاذاة? Sayyidina, you said Makkah facing like this, either right, either like left, or either right. Okay, the miqat is either on the right, either on the left. So can it be in the same line? Okay, or other than? The question is other than the left and the right. Can it be other than the left and the right? هل تتحقق المحاذاة لأحد المواقيت من غير جهة اليمين والشمال? Can the parallel point be established for any of the miqats without being on the east, on the left or the right of a person? He says it can be pictured by from up, above. So like this, let's say this is miqat, okay, and the plane is passing by. So if the plane stops, then it is muhadat. Let's say helicopter. Helicopter stops. Now a person can enter the state of ihram peacefully because the helicopter is giving some time. Helicopter. However, if it's a plane, it's 500 kilometers per hour. If it's a lab, your bake is past already the miqat. So he says that could be problematic. That could be problematic. So there's the only way you can picture the other parallel point is aerial parallel point. He says يمكن تصويرها, it can be pictured, okay, من جهة الفوق, parallel ship from the parallel point from the top. كما إذا مر بالطائرة على سماء الميقات, as if he passed in the aeroplane over the sky of the miqat. وأمكن التوقف هناك بمقدار أداء التلبية, and it was possible to stop there on it, the amount which allows you to recite the talbiyah, recite the labbaik, labbaik Allahumma labbaik, labbaik la sharika laka labbaik. Inna alhamda wa ni'mata musta'ab. So it allows you to just say this sentence for 2 seconds or 3 seconds. Okay, that can be on a helicopter perhaps. Ada talbiya. However, he said this to suffice on this kind of talbiya is problematic for me. في كفايتها لكن في كفايتها إشكال. There is a problem. It's a problematic. That means do not be sufficient. Just come on Jeddah airport and enter the ihram via nether. So this is all what we wanted to explain today. So we have completed ruling number 15. Inshallah, we are going to take ruling number 16. Yes, 15 done. 16. 16 is related to this. Let me complete it rather than keeping only one ruling for the next week or tomorrow. Ruling number 16. هل الفارق بين جدة والجحفة في خط الطول ب4 دقائق يكفي في تحقق المحاذاة؟ 4 degrees. Remember the parallel ship, 8 degrees, 4 degrees difference. So let's say the parallel point, okay, between Jeddah and Juhfa was 4 degrees. Then can that be considered a parallel if it was not like coming straight? You see, it's not coming straight, for example. It's coming like 4 degrees like this. See, Jaffa is on the tip of this black pan. It's like 4 degrees, like instead of 90, it is 94. Okay. Can that form a parallel ship? نعم. He says yes. الفارق المذكور يكفي في تحقق المحاذاة العرفية. 4 degrees, 4 degrees like this. In the common consideration, it is top and Makkah is here. That's it. Okay. Yakfi, it is sufficient to define the common considered parallel point for whoever stands in a point indicated لمن يقف في النقطة المشار إليها في الجنوب الشرقي لمدينة جدة. From the east. So this kind of little bit here and there, if you find out, then it's southeast of Jeddah. So Jeddah is here, east is here, south is here. So southeast of Jeddah. So there's a point in my hand is Jeddah. There's a point here. So that means in Jeddah, you can enter the state of Ihram with nether. If you don't want to do nether, you will have to come all the way down to this point and enter the state of Ihram from southeast of Jeddah. Number 17. إذا كانت نقطة المحاذاة للجحفة تقع في الجنوب الشرقي من جدة. As you have, كما هو رأيكم الشريف, as your honorable opinion indicates that the parallel point is somewhere after Jeddah, like southeast of Jeddah. Okay. Then, is it permissible to enter the state of Ihram? We said this is Jeddah. And this is southeast of Jeddah. And here is Jeddah airport. So is it permissible to enter the state of Ihram from Corniche and from all these places, which is like in Jeddah itself, which is in the west of the parallel point? Okay. So so all Jeddah area, can I enter the state of Ihram? He says, Yajuzu bin nadar. It is permissible by nadar. Why, Sayyidina? Because he says, نقطة المحاذاة لا تقع في جدة نفسها. The parallel point to Juhfa is not located inside Jeddah itself. بل في الخارج, however, it is out of Jeddah. Where? من جهة الجنوب الشرقي. From the southeast of Jeddah. Southeast of Jeddah. Okay? So, just once for a last time, if I can just share you the map, and let's find out more about Jeddah and southeast of Jeddah. So we have Jeddah here. Okay. This is Makkah. So somewhere, this is Jeddah airport. Somewhere south, this is Jeddah. So this east, this west Jeddah, east Jeddah. So when we go east and south, it says out of Jeddah. So let me pull a parallel point from Juhfa. Rabigh al-Juhfa. See this Juhfa here? I have Juhfa. I can make it a bit smaller to see how we can reach Jeddah. Let's pull a point. So this is Juhfa. If I pull a straight line, okay, I don't want to move it. That's Juhfa. Let's keep going straight down. Okay, yeah. Now let's pull a line to Makkah. I mean, you can do these experiments, and so this is Haram. Okay, let's pull a line from Makkah. So where did our Juhfa line go? So this is Juhfa. Okay, this is Juhfa, and this is. I'm going to pull a line from Makkah. So this is the area parallel point. Okay. However, you understood the concept. See, the Sistani says after, because when he does investigation, he has this high-tech people, okay, who are professional in maps and those kind of, doesn't go like people who are unprofessional. So he says several places today we heard in his question and answer, it is somewhere in southeast of Jeddah. That means in Jeddah you can enter the state of Ihram with another. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله على محمد وعلى آله الطيبين